I was in Los Angeles. I have a friend named Walter Bosley, who's a screenwriter and a filmmaker. And he had a script a couple years ago. He just sort of plopped it in front of me and said, "Hey, what do you think of this?" It was called The Devil's Mill. And I thought two things. Walter, if you're listening, you know what I thought. I thought, one, any script that has an 8-page soliloquy is nothing that you can possibly shoot unless you're Walter Bosley. He would shoot it, but it wasn't anything that I could shoot. But I liked the idea. It was originally a guy and a girl on the run from a bad situation. We don't know what it is. Take refuge in a house as opposed to a cabin in the middle of nowhere. And they run into a guy who seems nice at first blush, who owns the house. But then things spiral out of control. And it's sort of a it's kind of a love, lust, hate, jealous triangle. That's what it is. And it's only at the end, I think, that you sort of really realize that there might be more to this guy than just your garden variety wacko who's hanging out in the house as a serial killer or something like that. I think most of us live in completely dysfunctional relationships. I think most of us don't know how to deal with each other much, and we certainly we don't even know how to deal with ourselves. So what you have in Lara and Eve are two characters who are the apotheosis of that. They don't know how to deal with themselves. They don't know who they are. They've been so wounded by things that are left largely unsaid in the film. Although there's certainly a moment where Nick's character confronts Lara's character, and he certainly runs down a list of things that may or may not be true, which is kind of like the Joker in the Dark Knight, sort of explaining his origin, which might be his origin, or it might be just a story that he cooks up. But something in there resonates with Lara. But Lara and Eve are two thoroughly dysfunctional individuals who found themselves together. I don't think they particularly love each other at all. I think Lara's a certain type of character that we find in real life all the time, who thinks they love somebody, has convinced they love somebody, but they don't understand what love is, to me anyway, which is sacrifice. So she's not willing to sacrifice anything. She needs control. Well, that's not love. Eve, on the other hand, is in her own way the same sort of character. Neither one of them is willing to sacrifice anything for the other one. Well, that's exactly the kind of person that if you really do have a devil or some sort of great evil in this world, that they would prey on, because those are the kind of people that at their core are bad. But that idea of exploring the nature of who human beings are, I mean, if you can't do that, why would you bother making a film? I mean, there are better ways of making money, believe me. So the reason I think people get involved in it as actors or writers or storytellers of any sort is to try and explore what it means to be a human being and the nature of our relationships with ourselves. I mean, I have an interest in the paranormal in the same way my grandfather had an interest in the paranormal. He was a Reformed Baptist minister. My interest maybe has been in UFOs and consciousness and some of the, but to me it's all trying to find out why we're here and whether there's something beyond, in the words of the immortal pop poet Brian Ferry, whether there's more than this. You know, is this it? You're born, you live, you die, and that's it. You can bookend it. Or is there something after that? Is there something even when we're here that we're interacting with? So it doesn't have to be the devil, it doesn't have to be space aliens, it doesn't have to be any of that stuff. But I don't think my interest in the paranormal informed my so-called paranormal filmmaking. Or at least the documentaries I did about the paranormal, not the other way around. So that's a much broader thing. It encompasses philosophy, it encompasses religion, it encompasses history, it encompasses the entire study of the human condition. So I don't actually view the paranormal really as being paranormal. I mean, it's really about us. Even the story of God, whether it's a myth or whether it's real or a combination of both, the story of God and the story of the devil, it's not really about God and the devil, it's really about us and their relationship to us. We're we're the central focus over what their big battle is about, is what they're going to do with us. And so at the end of the day, it's very narcissistic of us to look at it this way, but I mean, they're the prisms through which we view our own situation. So that's what interests me. It all comes back to us again and trying to figure out what we're all about and why we're all here. Which sounds very airy-fairy, I know. Yeah, but that's it. Otherwise, why would you bother making a film? I just don't understand why anybody would make a film if it wasn't about the human relationship with each other and with ourselves. So that's what this is about.